Hi, everyone. We're going to talk about phonics. So phonics is the set of relationships between the sound and speech, phonology, and the spelling system, orthography. The emphasis is on spelling patterns rather than individual letters, since English lacks a one-to-one correspondence between sounds and symbols. Sounds vary according to their location in a word, understanding that adjacent letters and vowel markers affect the sound of a letter, right? Etymology influences our pronunciation. Some spellings are retained for semantic reasons rather than phonological reasons. So sign is from the word signature. Bomb is from Latin bombus. Write is influenced by Old English written, Writan, and knowledge is influenced by, or know is influenced by knowledge. So phonic concepts. Phonics explain the relationship between phonemes and graphemes. Remember sound and then letters, the written letter. There are 44 phonemes in the English language, which are represented by the 26 letters of the alphabet. But there are over 500 ways to represent the 44 phonemes or sounds in our language. Consonants, we have single consonant sounds, consonant blends, and consonant digraphs. Vowels, we have short and long vowel sounds, we have vowel digraphs, and we have diphthongs, right? Blending into words. We blend sounds to decode words, and phonograms are rhymes or word families, and there are 37 rhyme patterns. Beginning readers and writers depend on the sounded out strategy to decode and spell words. And this strategy is effective for phonetically regular words such as bus and feet, but the strategy is not effective for figuring out words such as chair, now, or said. So because English has an imperfect correspondence between sounds and letters, linguists have created rules to clarify English spelling patterns. One rule is that Q is followed by U and pronounced qua, as in queen, quick, quantity. Sometimes this is called the when two vowels go walking, the first one does the talking rule, as in meat, soap, and each. Many rules are not very useful because there are so many more exceptions than words that conform, like the long vowel rule. When there are two adjacent vowels, the long vowel sound of the first one is pronounced and the second one is silent. And that's not necessarily always true, right? True. So here are phonic rules created to compensate for the imperfect correspondence between sounds and letters in English. So they're useful, right? But they're not always correct. So when you're teaching phonics, the best way is through a combination of explicit instruction and then authentic application. The most effective programs are systematic. There is a systematic way to learn phonetics, sounds that our letters make. And so you want to begin with the simple skills and then progressively become more complex. And that's where the rules in phonics come in, right? So you learn those rules, and then the next step is that you're going to learn words that don't comply to those rules. But you've already learned how to spell the words that do comply to the rules, and then you understand, oh, but then there are these words that don't comply. So several strategies for identifying unfamiliar words, sounding out words, decoding by an analogy, applying phonics rules, explicit instruction are many lessons to hold class or small groups differentiated based on individual needs, right? And then you always want to provide that authentic application where students are able to apply their newly learned phonic concept in reading and writing. So assessing students' phonics knowledge. You're going to assess students' knowledge of phonics with tests, observations, and reading and writing samples. You will assess at the beginning of the year, the middle of the year, and the end of the year. You're going to use the instruction assessment cycle. Plan intentional, explicit instruction, teach your lesson, evaluate students' learning, and the effectiveness of your literacy program. And then reteach, right? Replan and teach. If students struggle, you identify the problem, you reteach the concept, provide opportunities for authentic application, and provide extended guided practice. So, what's the role of phonics in a balanced literacy program? Our textbook talks about the controversial topic of phonics. There are parents, politicians, as well as even a few teachers that believe the most of our educational ills could be solved if children were taught to read using phonics. A few people still argue that phonics is a complete reading program, but that view ignores what we know about the interrelationalness of the four cueing systems. Reading is a complex process, and the phonological system works in conjunction with semantic, syntactic, and pragmatic systems, not in isolation. So, the best way to teach phonics instruction and is recommended that phonics be taught within a balanced approach that integrates instruction in reading strategies and skills with meaningful opportunities for reading and writing. Phonics instruction should focus on the most useful information for identifying words, and that it should be systematic and intensive, and it should be completed by third grade. So by third grade, children have learned phonics and how to apply the different understanding of blending, the phonic rules, right? And then in fourth grade, you move on to more sophisticated learning, reading learning, and writing learning. So you're wanting to teach kids to be strategic. So here are the strategies: sounding out words, decode by analogy, and applying phonic rules. So our textbook provides this graph or this tablet or this table. And throughout all phonic instruction, it is important to have daily opportunities for children to apply phonic strategies and skills in authentic reading and writing activities. Children need meaningful application of what they are learning for phonic instruction to be effective. Why are they learning it? Why do we need to learn this? Explicit instruction includes many lessons on phonic concepts to the whole class or to small groups of children, depending on the student's instructional need. Mini lesson format explicitly presents information on phonic strategies or skills, demonstrating how to use it and presenting words for children to use in guided practice. During lessons, teachers use activities to provide guided practice opportunities for children to manipulate sounds and read and write words. So phonics can be a controversial topic, like we kind of went over. Some people believe all educational ills can be solved if children are taught to read using phonics, but we want to remember the complex process of reading and how all four cueing systems work together. You want to focus on the best way to teach phonics. Phonics needs to be taught within a balanced approach that integrates instruction in reading strategies and skills with meaningful opportunities for writing and reading. Thanks, everyone. See you online.